In the beginning, when you're learning jazz guitar, it can be very overwhelming to think that you have to learn all these crazy chord shapes and chord names in order to play jazz. But in this video, I'm going to show you that when you use shell voicings, playing jazz becomes a lot simpler, and these voicings I'm about to show you really are all you need in the beginning to play jazz. And of course, once you get further down the road in your playing, you can play more complex voicings. But these shell voicings are just 3 notes, and they're on the E and A strings, and they're really easy to finger. So let me show you those. First of all, what is a shell voicing? A shell voicing is when you play the root, third, and seventh of a chord. So if you were to take C major 7, for example, we have C, the root note, E, the major third, and B, the major 7th. So shell voicings basically tell you what quality the chord is. So these shell voicings contain the root, the third, and the 7th. And the 3rd and 7th of a chord often tell you the quality of that chord. What is the quality of a chord? The quality of a chord is if it's either major, minor, diminished, or whether it has a major 7th, dominant 7th, or a diminished 7th. So the first shell voicing I'm going to show you is up here on the 8th fret. So we're going to take your pointer finger, you're going to put it on the 8th fret on the E string, you're going to skip A, and you're going to play 9 on the D string. And this is going to be a B note. So we have C, B, and then we're going to play 9 on the G string, which is an E note. So we have C, the root note, we have B, the major 7th, and we have E, which is the major 3rd. So this is a C major 7th shell voicing. Now let me show you that same voicing with a root on the 5th string. So here we have C, which is the root, on the 3rd fret of the A string. Then we have E, which is on the 2nd fret of the D string. And we have B, which is on the 4th fret of the G string. And we have root, 3rd, 7th. See, look how simple that is. Play that one. Oh shit. Sorry. Play that one. Very simple voicings. Just use these in the beginning. They're not going to be wrong. They're very easy chords to play, and these will serve you much better than learning like a wacky shape like this. Now let's move on to the dominant 7th shell voicings. So for a C dominant 7th, all we're going to change from that C major 7th shape is we're going to drop the B note to a B flat, because B flat is the 7th of a C major scale, C Mixolydian scale. Anyway, B flat is the 7th of C. So we're going to have this voicing, which is going to be the same, but we're going to drop where our ring finger was. We're going to drop that a fret. So you could either play the voicing like this on the 6th string, where it's your middle finger that is playing the 8 of the E, or you could play it like this, where it's your pointer finger that's playing the 8 of the E. So you could either play it like this, or like this. But, so we have root, C, 7th B flat, or dominant 7th B flat, and the E, which is the 3rd. So let me show you that on the 5th string. So, same voicing as this C major 7th, but we're just going to drop this B note to a B flat. And here's the voicing. Pretty simple, right? Now let's move on to minor 7th. And these shapes for minor 7th actually work for both minor 7 chords and minor 7 flat 5. And why is that? Because I mentioned, I think earlier in the video, that shell voicings include the root, 3rd, and 7th. They don't include the 5th. So for minor 7 flat 5, it doesn't matter. You can just play the 1st, 3rd, and 7th because it's going to be the same as a minor 7th chord. So let's do a C minor 7th. This shape. It's going to be 8, skip the A string, and for the D and G it's going to be 8-8-2. 8-8-2 as in T-O-O, not T-W-O. Anyway, this is the voicing. And that same chord, but on the 5th string root, is going to be this. So for here, it's 3, 1, 3 on the A, D, and G strings. And that works for both minor 7s and minor 7th flat 5s. So, if you look at like a song like Autumn Leaves, for example, where it'd have C minor 7th for 1 bar, F7 for 1 bar, B flat major 7 for 1 bar, E flat major 7 for 1 bar, A minor 7 for 1 bar. Sorry, I bet it's getting tired hearing me say 1 bar over and over again. But then you have the D7 1 bar, then you have G minor 7 or G minor 6 for 2 bars. So I'm going to comp through Autumn Leaves just using those voicings. It's going to sound like this. So, see that works. It's very simple. It's not, these chord shapes aren't too hard for a beginner. It's better than, it's better than these big voicings that are hard for your fingers. In this case, when it's 3 notes, none of these voicings really are too hard for a beginner, and they work with the harmony. So, shell voicings, check them out. They're so useful. I'm going to have a PDF that shows shell voicings and the fingerings and shapes for them, like I just showed in this video, in the link below. And I hope you check it out. That's it for today's video. Subscribe if you like the content. And I want to let you know I'm offering private Zoom lessons. Just hit me up at my email. Thank you. Have a great day.